Alright. Okay, so we're stacking all the cubes?
Yeah.
Alright. You gotta be careful because these get kind of slick.
Let's see how high I stack it.
Alright. Hang on, we're 9 high right now?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
There's 10. Don't let it fall. Keep it. Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Hey everyone, Angel of Alchemy here. I'm so sorry it's taken like actually years for me to upload. At least that's what it feels like. But today we are going to be talking about our 40 plus some odd decks and how we got them on the world's tightest budget. We're broke. So we're going to talk about how we accumulated all these decks to keep Invoked 101 going. This is currently about 42 of our like 45, 46 some odd decks sitting like right in front of us. We have like 10 of these boxes. I think we have 3 of these, but one of them's at my house. 3 of these like double boxes.
Those are usually used for decks in progress. Right now we're on a tight budget, so I haven't picked up another one of these.
Yeah.
But there's 3 decks right here, and once I get the money for another one of these are going to be empty again.
And then, you know, one of the cases that we normally have like our cores and stuff in, but these just, you know, we're trying to save up for more deck boxes.
I don't play those decks a lot, so that's why they're in the clear box.
But when I originally got into Yu-Gi-Oh, whenever he was trying to teach me, he only had about 7 decks. If we're gonna be like straight to the point, this video could be 2 seconds. It could just simply be trading. Trading is a huge like extender for a budget players, like just everything, their collection, their decks, their just everything. So, you know, how'd you make 7 decks turn into 40 plus decks?
Well, it started when I spent $45 on a dude's collection. I had just come into a little bit of money, and I think it was like $200. I think I had like $200. And
I wish I had $200.
yeah, my buddy he was quitting the game, and he had like 4 decks for sale and a whole bunch of bulk. And I said, let me take a look at your bulk, let me see what it's in there, and also let me look at the decks. And he showed me his decks. And I was like, what do you want for him? And he wanted like $200, $300 a piece for him. So I was like, all right, I can't get those. Let me see what you got rocking in the bulk. And he had a bunch of bulk, and I was looking through it, and I was like, I could build a bunch of decks out of this. There's a lot of cores in here. I didn't tell him that, and I was like, what are you looking for to get out of your bulk? And he goes, well, what can you give me for it? And I was like, I have $45 in cash on me now. And he goes, you know what? I need this new thing for my computer. I'll take it. And so I gave him $45 for 2 duffel bags worth of stuff. And that's actually where the vast majority of my bulk comes from now, is his collection. I also bought my friend's collection. What happened was I bought a hero deck off him for $60, and then he enlisted in the military, and he actually gave me all his other bulk. So I say I bought his bulk for $60 along with a hero deck, when actually he just kind of gave it to me. But I included it in the purchase because it happened like a week later. But that's where a lot of my bulk comes from. And then I turned what I couldn't use into trade fodder, and I've probably only invested $400 in value, like buying stuff for what's right here, which out of 44, 45 decks.
How many years is that over?
I've been playing, I got back into the game 5 years ago.
Like 5 or 6?
No, like 4 or 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 4 or 5. Because this is year 5, I think. And it's a lot. Like, but I've had a lot of decks over the course that aren't with me anymore. Examples being, I've had a Cosmo deck 3 times. I'm on my 3rd one because I traded for the first one and sold it, and I traded for a second, and then I traded for a second one. I gave it to my friend, and then I got it back because he didn't play anymore. So I got it back from him, and then I sold it, and then I traded for / bought the new one. You picked me up a tin can for like $6, and then I think I picked up a few cards online.
It was a steal of a deal.
It was like a $10 card at the time, and she
wish-
scooped it for $6.
I wish I had his Instagram on me because I'd give you guys his Instagram because
Yu-Gi-Oh cards for sales.
Yeah.
For sale on Instagram.
Yeah, he's really nice.
He's awesome.
Yeah. But normally he'll give you like a little deal for it and stuff if he can.
It's usually
But,
like $1 cheaper than
one of the
market
decks
price.
that we basically. I'm pretty sure we completely traded for this one.
Yeah, we did. I traded our buddy Cody.
My lovely Madolche deck. We traded. Okay, so like most of the stuff came from Alpha Penguin Soldier, who was gracious enough to give Nod a huge deal when trading.
It was probably a $150 value, and I think I traded him for 75 or less in value. It was like, but he riffled through my binder. I remember sending him like 2 letters. I think I sent him a lot of stuff for the deck, but it was worth it.
Yeah, but like since then, most of like how I keep up with it is through simply trading, or I always bring up like the kindness of my locals because they're just a bunch of sweethearts. Because like if nobody's really cares about a deck that I care about, they'll just give me the stuff most of the time, and it's just super generous of them. But that's how I kept up with Madolches.
The newest example of that is easily the you guys can't actually tell, but this has the Super Quant deck in it. At the Dark Neostorm sneak peek, I was basically handed all of the Super Quant and Destiny Hero stuff that people were pulling. So I was able to get a lot of the cards for that. I think they're done, if I remember. Yeah, they're done because I did the deck profiles for them. So that's awesome. I've actually played the Super Quants a few times. I ended up playing it at the sneak peek after everyone pulled the stuff, and I played it at the sneak peek, which was fun. And then I've played it a couple times since, but I haven't played Destiny Heroes yet.
Cutscene.
All right. But yeah, I like those decks.
I completely forgot what I was gonna
You're talking about the kindness of strangers.
I don't even remember.
I got a story then. I can talk about like a tip for budget players.
Is this a silly story?
No, it's a tip for budget play. It leads into a funny story.
All
right. So when I was in high school and we were first starting to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I was trying to build speed droids at the time. I hadn't finished the deck yet because I hadn't gone to Tulsa, which is where I first finished speed droids. I went to a vintage stock in Tulsa and I bought everything for the deck for like 50 cents a card. It was awesome because I thought the deck was expensive, and then it wasn't. But when I was in high school, my friends were all building these crazy decks because they had jobs and I didn't have a job, and I still don't have a job. And
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
I do this, but
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed is your family?
10
Aww.
easily. So
Same.
I couldn't afford any new cards, so I was stuck playing these kind of bad decks, and eventually all my friends would just dump all the Performer Pal stuff on me. I was like, I don't want to play this, but I sucked it up. I sucked it up and played Performer Pals. Little did I know that Performer Pals were like one of the best decks ever, like in that format. So they kind of got dunked on with Performer Pal because I figured out how to play it. But the fact of that story is, don't be afraid to play the garbage budget decks. Like, just suck it up and play the garbage budget decks. Like, stuff, the pack filler like Crawler, the pack filler like Crusadia, question mark? I don't know. Is Crusadia considered pack filler if it's as good as it is?
How many people want it? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I mean...
But I mean, like, originally...
It kind of was. Like when people realized it wasn't super great, it kind of became pack filler.
Yeah.
And then later on, it's become not pack filler as time has gone on.
Don't waste money on something you don't need to. Because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of like, okay, so we didn't mention this yet, which I realized during our fun little cutscene, was that this took a little over a year. So it started with 7, took a little over a year to get 40 plus decks. I only own 7 of them. But basically 2 more of them are my babies, but you won't let me have them.
Oh, the Speed Droids and Ancient Gears?
Yeah.
Oh, no, those are mine. You can't have those.
You don't even play them.
I play Speedroids. I have to fix them. They're broken right now. I can't play Orca Speedroid anymore. Summon Source is banned.
Well, anyways, we go through, like, I mean, as a deck building channel, not this one, but on our other channel, you have to always have something new. You always have to have something to keep up with. And something new doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the new, hittest, hottest deck out there. It mostly means that you need to have something unique on your channel, and you're not just doing the same deck profile like every few months or doing the same one every few weeks. You gotta like shake it up. And
I don't know, people seem to like me uploading a Cyber Dragon deck once a month.
Lately it's been like once a week.
It's been a while,
Because you did your Tulsa one, and then you did your update, the better one.
That was
Tulsa.
twice in 1 week.
Yeah. And then,
That was a 5-day difference.
And then the banlist hit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been like 3 times in 1 month. But anyways, we gotta look into like more unique decks or more unique builds. And so what we'll do is we'll collect cards for a deck, and then they just kind of sit around. Like at one point it was like Zephyros, for example. We got really close to actually finishing off Zephyros.
I was going to build that for you.
Somebody handed us a super heavy Samurai Core once.
We still have it.
Yeah.
I still have the super heavy Samurai Core.
We just never finished it. And Agents. Agents was one that he was like, yeah, I'm going to finish it. And then just
I never
did.
Right now, the deck that I'm working on finishing, I actually traded the Zephyr Core for Rockets, which right after I traded the Zephyr Core for Rockets, they announced a little bit more about Revolver's structure deck, which is awesome because that's the Rocket structure deck. So I'm excited that I picked it all up. So that's nice. The only thing I'm missing is Quick Launch.
But basically the point is just to, like, don't start a deck that you're not really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because as he was saying, he was like, yeah, don't be afraid to do the pack filler stuff. But the thing is that with the pack filler, you're most likely going to get it for free. You're most likely going to get it without needing to trade anyone for it, which is wonderful. But if you really just don't care about it and you know you can't get your hands on all of it, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't even spend $2 on it if you like. If you know you're not gonna like play it. I mean, what's the point, right? Stick to decks that you know that you can finish and want to play, at least for a little bit. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up with just a whole bunch of cores that nobody else wants.
Yeah.
And you would have wasted money that you could have spent on a better deck.
Yeah, like I think the most recent deck we've picked up. So I spent $50 finishing Neos and Spellbooks, which I really wanted to play Spellbooks again because I used to be a Spellbook player, like way back when, but then I got rid of it when Spellbook of Judgment got hit. Because
you were one of those players.
I wanted to play Spellbook of Judgment, okay? Like, I've been playing Spellbooks for like...
My card got hit.
I have been playing Spellbooks for like a month, and I pulled all of it from packs, like all of it. And I was so excited, and then I showed up to school one day, and my friend's like, you can't play Spellbook of Judgment anymore. Got hit on the ban list. I was like, I don't want to play this deck anymore.
I would have been upsetty too.
Spellbook of Judgment was the best card.
This was back when he didn't know what a ban list was.
I didn't know where ban lists were.
So his friend's just like, no, you can't play this. I would have been upset too.
Yeah, it sucked. I was upset. Anyway, the most recent deck I picked up, and it's only because like I had mild interest in it, and I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't for the price that it was. I picked up Ritual Beasts. You can see Ritual Beast Elder. This came with 30 main deck cards and a full, I think it's 11 or 12 card extra deck, but it has 2 extra Ulti Canahawks, which is where the like 13 or 12 comes from, because it's a couple extra cards. I got all of it for $5. Like the whole thing for $5, which sounds insane because it's like 40 cards for $5. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't $5 and I wasn't at least a little bit interested in what Ritual Beast did. And even then, I know like there's enough Ritual Beast players or enough people interested in the deck that if I did want to get rid of it at some point, I know I can. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of deck that you want to look for if you are planning on picking up a bunch of decks like this. You want to pick up decks that not only are you interested in, stuff like Demise, stuff like Cubics, just the small interesting decks like that, but you also want to pick up the decks that people are also interested in, again, like Demise. There's a very strong following for that ritual deck, which is very strange to me because no one really plays it like out in public. It's kind of like a lot. And the other thing is, like, personally, don't invest too hard into structure decks. Because the thing about structure decks is, if you get them and then you try to trade them later, everyone already has it. And they have no value.
And the real issue is that if you know that you can't buy the few extra cards that aren't in the structure deck that you need to play the deck,
just don't
then
do it.
it's just a waste of money in the end. My biggest tip for budget players who maybe don't do a lot of trading or maybe don't have a locals near them is that play a deck that you've seen go through multiple formats and is still good.
Burning Abyss.
Well, it doesn't have to be top tier meta or anything like that, but something that can definitely hold up against casual players that are playing things that are tier 2. If it, Fluffles. Frightful
Oh,
Fluffles.
that's a really good cheap deck.
It's cheap and it's good. It's
I think the
good.
only expensive card is like Sabretooth, and he's only like $8 a piece.
Which is
he's a little expensive.
But still, there's like tons of really, really good decks out there that if you know that you can't really trade for a lot of your stuff, and you got to spend time saving up for it, make sure it's a deck that's not going to get crippled. Because I see a lot of budget players, and what they'll do is they'll go, okay, I've saved up for months, now I can finally buy that Sky Striker deck.
Yep.
And then it's like, wait a moment, are you sure about that?
Sorry.
Especially if you're gonna go for a meta deck and you haven't ever played it. I never really saw the point of that. I would always go for a deck that I know is good, that I know is fun, that I know that I can either take to locals and try to top, or play around with my friends and just have a good time. So invest in a deck that you know that you're really gonna love if you have to pay for all of it, Definitely don't do one that you might not even be able to play the next 2 weeks,
Yeah. It's not, my personal pick right now for if you want something weird right now, there is the zombie structure deck with like Gozen Mat or Rivalry of Warlords, which is stupid. I hate that combo where you get like Zombie World and Rivalry and it locks your opponent out of like monsters. I would play that, but I'd combine it with Skull Servants just because Skull Servants are dirt cheap and also like you can get him up to like 7,000 super easy.
Oh, I've seen you get 10,000.
I've gotten King of Skull Servants pretty big. But Skull Servants are really fun. That's a really cheap deck, except for White Mare. I think he's $6 a piece still. But that's the other thing, is that another buying tip is that you have to be prepared for that one expensive card in every cheap deck. In every cheap deck, there's always going to be an expensive card. In Fluffles, it's Sabretooth. In Crusadia, it's Equimax, I think. Yeah, Gravekeepers had Recruiter for a while, who even now he's kind of expensive. I think he's like $4. Kind of expensive. $4 isn't uber expensive, but it is a little pricey for a deck that hasn't like topped anything recently.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you always have to be prepared for that one card that's like anywhere between $4 to $16 and is a 3 of, and that's only like a Neos. Neos used to has Miracle Contact. I think Miracle Contact was like $7 when I bought it. That Neos is actually kind of expensive, which is a little ridiculous.
So now for the real heartbreaking, sad truth of how we got some of our decks, at least like maybe 6 of them, I'm not really sure. Here's the real heartbreaker. We got them from our friends who didn't want to play the game anymore. And you know what, that happens, but there's always going to be people out there that have a real passion for the game just like you do, and you can always meet them. You can especially meet them online if you don't have anyone near you in the area or any locals. But the real sad truth is that we did not just trade for all of these decks or buy little one-of cards that we needed. We got some full built decks that he made himself, handed to him from his friends who quit the game. And it's a little heartbreaking, but at the same time it did help us with the channel and grow it more with valuable deck profiles. And when I say valuable, I mean like people love Cosmos and ABCs.
I bought Cosmos. I sold the other one.
Well, I mean you originally deck profiled it first.
I did profile before I sold it. Yeah.
And then you got all heartbroken. You're like, I sold the deck.
And I wanted it again, and then I got it. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I've had offers for my Cosmo deck. People have offered to buy it off me, but I've always said no. I don't.
People offer.
These are my babies. I don't sell them.
Somebody was like, how much do you want Prima Dolce? So I was like, how much do you value your life?
But I do have a box, and this basically has all 4 of my old roommates' decks in it. And I do have a little bit of emotional connection to these, specifically his Red Eyes deck, because not only was that my old roommate's, it's actually, he bought it from my old best friend, who actually is now in the Army. And so whenever I see that Red Eyes deck, you know, I always think I'm like, it's my 2 buddies' decks, and it feels good to have it like in my collection. Even if it is nothing like it used to be, it still has a bunch of the old Red Eyes cards that both of them used to use in it. So, and which does make it feel nice, you know, it does feel good looking at your friends' decks that are now yours, and you look at it and it does make you think about all the good times. And I feel like that makes the cards a little bit harder to get rid of at some points, or to like I said, I turned Red Eyes into Red Eyes Guard Dragons. I felt bad when I turned it into Red Eyes Guard Dragons, but you know, if you want to make the decks better, then that's what you have to do.
But yeah. So I guess if we were to like sum this video up into like 3 seconds, tip number 1, trade for as much as you possibly can. Don't spend or waste money on anything that you don't have to. Only invest in decks that you know that you're going to play. And if you have to invest money, do it on a deck that you know that can play for a really long time without you needing to update it constantly. And then if you have any old friends that you used to play with, or if anyone at locals seems to have changed their deck that they're using all the time, hit them up, say, hey, could I possibly have this? You know, maybe try to get a deal out of it.
Yep.
Maybe they'll give it to you for free. Maybe you can trade for it. But those are basically the 3 simplest ways to get a bunch of decks. It does take time, so don't go, yeah, I can definitely get like 17 decks in 2 months, because that's just not how it works. Also, when it comes to this many decks, remember that you do need a proper way to store them. Do not shove them into a metal tin, because that will destroy your cards. Also, sleeves. Please use sleeves and keep them clean.
Yeah.
But basically, this is just how we got a lot of decks. Way too many. And then
What are you talking about? I play all of these.
Sure. I'm sure you play all 46 or some odd decks, you know.
I try to. We have trash locals
What's really
now.
sad is I don't even play all of my 7 decks, because like you keep taking cards from them. That's another thing you have to be mindful of. Realize that there are going to be key cards that you are going to need to switch throughout decks, because, for example, I needed Called by the Graves because he took both my playsets of Called by the Graves. So you know what I did? I went online and I traded for 2 playsets of Called by the Graves. You know who then took my 2 playsets of Called by the Graves?
I took 1. It was 1 playset.
So my decks are now kind of immobile. But remember that you don't necessarily need to buy a full deck to have a full deck. You can have those key cards such as like Mind Crush, Ash Blossom, Veiler, Cults, any hand traps, Mirror Force. Those can switch between decks.
Your staples.
The easier way to do it is to buy the same color sleeves.
Every deck is sleeved in black. I don't know if you've noticed it on Invoked 101, but every deck is just sleeved in black. We personally use Ultra Pro non-matte black.
Also, not a lot of decks look really pretty in other colors. You know, like yellow is really hard to find like a good...
Also not tournament legal.
Yeah.
Not a tournament legal color, because you can see through the back of it. So if I had to recommend a sleeve to sleeve everything in, Ultra Pro non-matte blacks are usually pretty okay. If you want to just get a little bit higher end stuff, you could get the Dragon Shields. I think any color Dragon Shield is tournament legal, of any variety.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because they're opaque backs. They're not as transparent.
But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this gave you some proper tips, and you know, his long stories helped a little. But definitely keep playing. Never give up on the game, even if your friends kind of move on. You know, life does take over. Don't be afraid to take a break. It doesn't necessarily mean that you quit the game. But if you do and you have a friend that you know could use a deck or 2, maybe lend that deck to your friend, sell it to them, make a little bit of cash, or, you know, just give it to them because you love them. And honestly, the decks that our friends gave to us, even though they have been changed a little, we love with all of our hearts and we take care of them. So, yeah, keep building, keep playing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!
All right. Okay, so we're stacking all the cubes?
Yeah.
Alright. You gotta be careful because these get kind of slick.
Let's see how high I stack it.
Alright. Hang on, we're 9 high right now?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
There's 10. Don't let it fall. Keep it. Ooh.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Hang on, I'm gonna pan the camera up. Mom, get the camera!
I know, it's tilting. Because you moved and it shook. Shook it.
Oh. It's 10 deck boxes stacked high.
Can we do more?
Maybe if I lift up the camera.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna stand.
Oh wait, no. There you go.
Oh, there it goes! Maybe if I scream loud enough, it'll fall over.
No.
Okay. Still on the same level. Ooh, it's wobbly.
I got it to stay there.
Okay, try the one of the towers. Try one of the 2 towers.
I don't think it's gonna.
Lay it like sideways, lay it on its side. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, that one's wibbly. Oh, it's going down. It's going down.
There it goes.
Do you want to try putting the sticker box on there?
No, I don't think it'll actually fit.
Okay, alright. Dismantle.